Greetings. This is Justin Allen, the Elite Nurse Practitioner. Welcome to the Elite Nurse Practitioner Show, a podcast dedicated to nurse practitioner entrepreneurism and achieving financial freedom, where I talk directly with nurse practitioners who need help. Listen up, our market is saturated. Jobs can be scarce. We are underpaid. We are undervalued. We are taken advantage of by the sharks within the healthcare system, and frankly, screw that. Sick of it, and it's time for a change. And listen, I'm here to help make that happen. We are powerful. We can forge a path where we are in control of our career and ultimately our financial and personal well-being. You do not need to submit to healthcare administrators and your doctor overlords. You do not have to take the measly salary. You do not have to work 50 to 60 hours a week. There is a different way, and I'm here to show you that path. This podcast is raw and unfiltered. I have not talked to the nurse practitioners in this podcast prior to the call outside of an email exchange to schedule the episode. What you're about to listen to is a consultation session between a nurse practitioner and myself. It is real, it is unscripted, it is unplanned, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Anything and everything can happen during our conversation. The nurse practitioners in these episodes are struggling with an issue in their professional or financial life, and they have reached out to me for help. My goal is to help the nurse practitioner with actionable advice that will enhance and improve their professional, business, and financial life. My other goal is to hopefully help my nurse practitioner sisters and brothers build a more productive, powerful, and free life. So I hope the content and information within these podcast episodes does just that. All right, onto the episode. Hello, everyone. Today we'll be talking to Carley, who is a family nurse practitioner. Currently, she is working PRN in urgent care while she runs her business full-time. Her practice focuses on weight loss predominantly, but also does some hormone replacement therapy and IV infusion. She's needing assistance with hiring employees as she is growing quickly, and also has some questions about practice finances and taxes. Hey, Carley, how are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for hopping on here. So tell us about yourself. How long have you been a nurse practitioner for, and what kind of things you've been doing?
Okay, perfect. I have been an NP for 4 years. I started with family practice, kind of took over another provider's weight management program. Done that in a rural area in Iowa, and then I started Revival Wellness Weight Loss in March.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, how's your practice going?
It's going really well. So I kind of looked at numbers yesterday. So January we hit 75,000, and last month we were about 70, but that was because I had some specials going on in January, and obviously it's really popular at the beginning of the year. So I anticipated to pop down a little bit, but it's busy. I probably have a handful of testosterone, handful of women's hormone replacement, handful of IVs monthly, but really it's predominantly weight management.
Okay. So you've been open for about a year.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And so you went from 0 to 70,000 plus a month in just a span of 12 months.
Yes.
That's pretty impressive. So yeah. So what would you account your success to?
Okay. Well, one, I would say it's good to live in a small town where you know everyone. I live in a town of about 5,000 people. And a lot of those patients are people that I've known before.
I'm going to pause you just real quick.
Yeah.
So you live in a town of 5,000 people.
Yeah.
And you're making $70,000 a month. I just want that to sink in for everybody. Like, you do not need to be in a large city. You can make a shit ton of money in a small town.
Exactly. And, we're kind of in rural Iowa. I networked with a couple of other providers in Des Moines, which isn't too far away from us, but we get some referrals from them. We talk about weight management, kind of just naturally come that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
We do a little bit of marketing, but not much. I mean, Facebook's big. I own my own business in Winterside. I was a photographer, but I did network with a lot of people in Southwest Iowa. So that kind of helped me to grow my client base as well.
Gotcha. Okay. So a lot of this has just been word of mouth.
Yep.
Yeah. Would you say that your success has been attributed to maybe like where your location is? Are you on a main road or something? Is it easy for people to find you?
No, actually. So what kind of happened was we kind of started renting a room from it was like a music studio. And then I was talking to my tax guy last year, and he said he had a place to buy, and I bought the building, and we put some other rooms in there. Separate business we're renting out, but right across from the library. But really, I just think it's mostly word of mouth. We're not too far off the square. We don't have a lot of traffic here, but I think
Yeah.
it's just really self-referrals from other patients.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. So how did you ramp it up? At the beginning, what would you say you did to start getting those first patients in the door before like the word of mouth snowball started?
I think I posted quite a bit on Facebook. I think it does help that I worked at a hospital only about 30 minutes away, far enough away to be out of my non-compete, but close enough that patients kind of knew that I was in the area starting my own cash pay clinic, especially because we've had so much trouble covering GLP-1 beds.
Gotcha. Okay. So a lot of it's just kind of timing. You've been able to ride basically the semaglutide tirzepatide train, basically.
Yep, yep. And I had a very popular clinic down there, full time, working 4 days a week, seeing 15 to 20 patients a day. So
Okay, cool. Cool. Well, I'm glad you're doing I'm glad you're very successful here. So you would say that the majority of your income is coming from weight loss and then a little bit with hormone replacement therapy and IV infusion. So with the IV infusion and the hormone replacement therapy, do you feel like it's just more or less a complementary secondary service that the weight loss patients are interested in?
yeah, I think that I've seen that being a weight management provider over the last 4 years. A lot of people talk about their thyroid, their hormones. I've checked a lot of levels. I didn't really dive into that until actually I took your courses to try to motivate me to understand better. And so I've just been doing education on that over the last year. I haven't really marketed that as much or talked about it or shared about it on Facebook just because I feel extremely comfortable with my weight management skills and what I've done over the last 4 years with that. But I just am kind of slowly diving into that. That's not to say that I couldn't, but I don't have time to really do the marketing either. So.
Yeah. I don't think you need to. I mean, it sounds like you're killing it already. Like, why why waste your money on marketing?
Yeah, yeah, it's going really well. One thing I did just do actually is I'm opening up another kind of remote clinic about an hour away. It's really rural Iowa. There's about 1,500 people that live there, but I do know that they've been kind of looking, they've been talking to me over a couple of years about coming to the hospital there. I didn't want to really partner with them and take insurance and do all that. So I opened a clinic. I just went there last week for my first day. I saw 5 patients, and then this week I think I had like 8. So I'm going to be doing that a couple times a month too.
Very nice. So looks like probably in the next 6 to 12 months, your revenue should be probably over $100,000, I would imagine.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that that second location that you opened was a smart move. I think that if you really want to grow and scale a business, you really need to start venturing out to, potentially other areas to really, increase patient volume. So going out to another small location is it's a very smart move. I mean, it's a no-brainer, especially when there's no one offering services, right? I don't understand why a lot of people like, I talk to nurse practitioners a lot that live in like Houston or whatever, really big cities, and they're opening up a weight loss clinic. It's just like, why would you open this up when there's 100 other weight loss clinics? Like, drive an hour or two outside of town.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, yeah,
And I'm really only 30 minutes from the big city, the big, I mean, Des Moines, capital of Iowa. I'm really only 30 minutes from there. And I did think about going north. And then I thought, why not go south and go, an hour and a half away from the city so we can really reach those people down
yeah, 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 yeah. That's a smart move. Go to where there's no services. I mean, there are so many small towns in this country that would die for these kind of clinics. There's no one offering them. The only option they have is telemedicine. And ultimately, I think people would rather support a local business. I mean, isn't that kind of what you found?
Yes, absolutely. I think people want to come in, they want to talk to me, they want to be able to trust me, and especially in small town Iowa.
Yeah. So you're needing assistance with hiring some employees, it sounds like. I mean, you're growing pretty quick. I mean, you're going to be 2024 is probably going to be a $1 million year for you if you can keep this up. So yeah, you're going to need some help. Do you have employees now?
No, I have a friend that's helped me a little bit. That's an RN, but she doesn't want full time, and she's just helped me maybe like 5 hours in the last month because I'm desperate to get someone in here.
So you built a business that's making 70,000 bucks a month by yourself.
Yes, it's busy.
Yeah, I'm sure you work your ass off, I'm sure. But that's just crazy. I mean, there are restaurant owners out there that, work 80 hours a week, maybe to make $100,000 for the year, you know?
Yep.
That's just crazy by yourself. That's the power of these little small practices. I mean, they're not that hard to operate. They're not that hard to do, and you can make a lot of money.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you don't have any staff whatsoever, really. I mean, no receptionist, no medical assistant, nothing.
No, I have kind of a silent partner that started the business with me, but she's kind of phased out. She's got a couple patients kind of dropping off, but she doesn't do anything here at the building. She has a full time, doesn't come here, so it's just me. I mop the floors, clean the toilets. Stuff I probably should be hiring that out, but
Yeah.
I just haven't done it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's just say you'll say 70,000 bucks. What's your
Mhm.
margin looking like here? What's the take home on that? What's the net?
We're netting about 60%.
60%. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. That's really good money. I mean, come on, most MDs aren't making this. So that's really, really good money. So you have the funds to hire someone. So don't let that be a limiting factor. I mean, even if you hire a RN at 30 bucks an hour, I mean, it's a small dent in that profit margin. It goes from 60% to 50%. But now how much time do you have, right? I mean, how much more
A lot.
time do you
Yeah.
have? Yeah. You can't put a dollar amount on time. You just can't.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. So I say that if that is a limiting factor, don't let it be because what will happen is when you hire someone, even if you're paying them $30 an hour, you're going to get so much busier. It's going to offset it so quick. Like it's going to be a little dip in your revenue for 2 months, and then it's going to go right back to where it was originally, and it's just going to go. It's going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger from there. And then you hire someone else, it dips, and then it goes back up. And before you know it, you have 3 or 4 staff members, maybe another nurse practitioner, and you're working maybe 10 hours a week and you're making just as much money as you are now, but working 10 hours a week. That's the power of hiring other people. So where's your mind at with this? Who are you wanting to hire? What are you thinking?
Probably something that a lot of other people struggle with, and this is my like one of the biggest things in the back of my head. I'm worried that it's not going to last forever, right? So I'm worried about hiring people and then having to be like, well, sorry, it's only lasted 6 months, and I can't afford you. That's one big thing that's in the back of my mind.
I mean, I'm going to stop you right there. So why do you think that would happen? Like, what's the fear?
I'm not sure. I maybe it's just I don't know. I maybe I'm just flabbergasted that everything worked out the way it did, and I'm so surprised that it's worked out. And I'm just unsure of myself. Maybe that's a thing a lot of nurse practitioners have. I feel there's a lot of people on the page that talk about the same kind of stuff. I don't know. I just think it's gonna go away, and then I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Well,
yeah
I think I mean, listen, this is a completely normal fear, not just for a nurse practitioner, but for any business owner,
yeah.
especially one that becomes successful very quickly. It's almost too good to be true, right?
Hmm.
Um, you almost feel like you're stealing just because like you're like, I've never made this kind of money in my life.
Yeah.
There's a lot of negative emotions that come into play on top of positive ones, right? Like you're ecstatic about making this money. You're so happy you're making you're making more than you ever could being employed. You might be working less. Like there's just so many positive emotions mixed in with those negative ones, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, that negative emotion of this is too good to be true. I'm gonna this can't last forever, kind of a thing. That's completely normal. I've had that thought and that emotion with every business I've ever started, even including Elite NP. Okay, what I found is that typically it is a bogus emotion. Okay. It's your brain telling you go back to safety, go back to being employed where it's nice and safe, where it's comfortable, where you have your benefits, you have your salary, you don't got to worry about all this stuff. I feel like it's just a survival instinct in your brain, and your brain's tricking you by having you experience this emotion and these thoughts. Okay. So it's not true though. All right. Like, I mean, what's the worst case scenario here? Like, all the GLP-1s get banned or something. You can't get compounded GLP-1s anymore. Okay. That would be one of the worst case scenarios, right? And I'm sure you've worried about that. Everyone worries about that.
I have
You
worried
know,
about that.
yeah, everybody's worrying about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody. All right. Every single person out there who's doing niche practices who are doing compounded semaglutide or tirzepatide are worried about that. Okay. So you're not alone. This is the thing. If that happens, then all the practices, all the businesses have to pivot. So that means the patient doesn't have an option. Where else are they going to get it? They're going to pay out of pocket at Walgreens for it, $1,200, $2,000. That's not going to happen, right? It's
Yeah.
not going to happen. Insurance isn't going to just magically start covering it. You know what I mean? They don't want to pay for this. So everyone has to pivot. The patient has to pivot. You have to pivot. Everybody does. Okay. So if that happens, you pivot, you go back to tried and true methods, metformin, uh, phentermine, whatever, right? You go back to the other one.
The meds I've done forever. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's worst case. You know what I mean? So don't worry too much about it. Will business slow down a little bit? Of course it will. Okay. People will find a way to get that stuff. I mean, there are places online you can order this shit from China and without a prescription. I mean, people are going to do dumb stuff, but ultimately, I don't think it's going to affect your bottom line significantly. I think that you would still have a sustainable business moving forward. Like I said, even if revenue drops 20, 30%, you're still doing okay.
Yeah.
You go from $1 million to $700,000. Yes, that stings, but it ain't the end of the world.
That's okay. That's still way more than I had ever before. So.
Right. You're still doing really well, So I always tell people right now, ride this gravy train for as long as you possibly can and milk it dry. Okay. Take advantage of it. Put that money into savings, invest it for the future, and just keep going business as usual. And if we got to pivot, we got to pivot. Okay.
Yeah, and then part of that is growing and having confidence to do that, or just leaping anyway into it. And then I guess if it falls apart, it falls apart, right?
Yeah, but you got a proven business model here. Like the people in your area want weight loss services. They probably want hormone replacement therapy. They probably want these other things. So like, I feel like you're probably okay. I mean, yeah, I thought about the same thing with my men's health clinic 5 years ago. I was like, this can't last. There's no way. The DEA is going to come in here for some reason. I did something wrong, or, who knows? All these weird, negative, paranoid thoughts. And I was just like, I'm doing everything right. I'm following regulation. What's the worst that's going to happen? And you know what? Nothing's happened.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. 5 years later, don't let that be a limiting factor. If you hire someone and for some reason the business closes, well, you know what? I mean, that happens sometimes. Your employee will be able to find another job. All right. I hope everyone's enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick break to thank everyone listening and also give a big thank you to all of my social media followers and email subscribers. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our email list at www.elitenp.com and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Email subscribers will receive updates on new weekly podcast episodes, multiple weekly articles we publish, new courses, and everything else related to helping you succeed. Remember, all Elite Nurse Practitioner courses are designed to help you build a niche practice, increase your financial strength, and to break free from the rat race. If I can break free and that other countless nurse practitioners can break free, then so can you. Additionally, please share this podcast with your other nurse practitioner sisters and brothers out there. The more NPs that venture out on their own, the stronger our profession will become. Now, let's get back to the episode.
So I'm thinking, I've got a few things in my head. One, I'm thinking about, worried this new business that I started an hour away is going to get busy. So I'm thinking about, and I don't want to drive an hour. I just quit my job that I had to drive 45 minutes to 4 days a week. So I would stay in my hometown. So I'm thinking about possibly hiring a nurse down there. Obviously it would be a part-time thing, but I'm only going 2 days a month right now. And I already have my 2 days filled for March. So I follow up to that kind of thing. I was kind of thinking about possibly having an RN that weighs patients and I have, meds there, or I have a computer there, everything's set up. He does their body comp with them, goes through things, how things are going. And then I do a 5-minute telemed conference. So I don't have to maybe go down there, but I could be available more often. That's one of the things I'm kind of juggling in my head. I want the nurse to be educated and be able to really work with patients and be a good cheerleader, kind of like I am. That's one fear I have. I want them to be able to be positive and give the same, get the same rapport with patients I have. And then also hiring a nurse here. While I'm doing those follow-ups, just easy things that they can work through, but I would want to still do the consultations.
Okay.
So it's kind
So
of like that.
think that would work, you know. You'd have someone there who would check the patient in, do vitals, whatever, and then you would just do the consult telemed, right? Pretty much sum it
Yeah,
up.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking for my room, the one that's an hour away that I just started because I'm thinking we're going to be busier there. So, and I don't want to drive down there because I'm busy here. I can't leave here. I'm here every day. Well, I'm
Right.
here Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday mornings, and I'm pretty busy.
Right. So I did the same thing with my second men's health clinic, the exact same thing. Okay.
Okay.
For about 6 months, because I was trying to hire another nurse practitioner up there. I mean, this was like 4 hours away. I was trying to hire a nurse practitioner, and it took me a while to find a good one that I trusted and,
Yeah.
that kind of fit the bill. I mean, I interviewed some. I'm like, you're not going to fit in here. Like, you're just not. You're way too by the book. You know, it took me a while to find a nurse practitioner, but I finally did. But at the beginning of that 6 months, though, that's what we did. They would go there. My medical assistant up there would check them in, do vital signs, et cetera, teach them how to inject, et cetera. And then we just did the visit via telemed. So it worked. So you could do that. Okay.
Okay.
It's a completely viable business model. I guess this is the thing. Where do you see yourself? What do you want to do? Do you want to continue doing patient care, or do you want to kind of ease out of it a little bit?
I want to do patient care. I think what I really need is someone to help me with the task. I send everyone their consents and emails, and I answer all the phone calls, and I book every single patient that comes through here. I talk to on the phone. I
Okay.
guess maybe I need more managerial help than that. I
Yeah.
would like to still see patients. Do
Okay.
I want to see patients 6 days a week? Probably not.
No.
That's my fault on the scheduling because I just thought, oh, it's going to be no big deal. I'm going to see people as late as possible, as early as possible. Well, now, if I have 10 patients in a day, I'm still here because I just didn't do well enough in my scheduling. So
Right, right,
um,
right.
maybe,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You need to offset that busy work. How much time would it save you a week if you didn't have to do all that stuff? Like something that a receptionist could do.
I think it would probably, what's hard because it's not consistent. Like it's not every day, all day the phone's ringing off the hook. But I
Sure.
think I probably would save 10 to 15, 20 hours a week because I do the Facebook posts and I make things for
Yeah.
marketing and do all
Yeah.
that stuff too.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just call it 15 hours a week.
Yeah.
15 hours a week. That's 15 hours you can put towards patient care, seeing
Yeah.
more patients, or 15 hours of just relaxation and not working, right? So, it's ultimately up to you. So yeah, this second location, you could be responsible for seeing all those patients, and you can be responsible for seeing the new patients coming into your current practice if you had one or two staff members doing everything else for you. You were just patient care and then focus on the finances on the back end, weekly or whatever, doing the business owner stuff, right?
Yeah.
But the rest of it's all done by other people. I mean, I'm talking about ordering meds from the compounding pharmacy, ordering supplies, checking patients in, scheduling, answering phones, all that busy stuff, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to offset that stuff like as soon as you possibly can because it's just busy work. It's gonna drive you nuts. You can't grow a business doing that stuff. Okay.
I think you're making me nuts already. Yeah.
Yeah, you've done it up to this point and you've done it very well. I mean, hell, you almost have $1 million business here. Like that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say first, I don't think you need an RN. I think it's total overkill. Okay. I think just
Okay.
a medical assistant's fine. All right.
Okay.
I don't know what the medical assistant scope is in Iowa. I have no idea. Um, in a lot of independent states, you're independent in Iowa, right?
Yes, I'm independent. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. In a lot of independent states, especially states in the Midwest and West, medical systems have quite a bit of scope. It just really depends on the provider what you want to delegate to them. Okay,
Yeah.
so they can do injections, they can do vitals, they can do a lot of stuff, but they're also trained on how to do the um, the office administrative stuff, right? The front
True. Yeah.
end stuff. Yeah, they're
Okay.
trained. They're trained to do front end and back end. Okay, so hire a medical assistant. Pay them like 20, $25 an hour, and they will love you. Okay. They will be super loyal to you and they will do a good job. All right.
Yes. Yeah.
Promise them 30 hours a week at first. All right.
Mhm.
Unless you think there's 40 hours of work. If you think there's 40
No.
hours, there's not. Okay. So just start at 30 and be like, hey, listen, the next few months we'll be able to bump you up to 40. We're still growing.
Yep.
Okay. So if you're paying them $25 an hour, I mean, you're only talking about a few $1,000s a month here. It's not that much. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, when you put it like that.
Yeah, it's not that much, okay? Just hire him as a W-2. You're gonna have to pay the employment taxes, big whoop-de-doo, okay? And that's it. You just have them fill out a W-2, the tax form, you hire them, you train them, that's it. You don't gotta do anything crazy here, okay?
Okay.
I wouldn't worry about doing a bunch of HIPAA training and OSHA training and all this stuff for one medical assistant, okay?
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Hire someone who has some experience. They know what the hell HIPAA is.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Now, this is the thing. You have already been doing all of this for the past year.
Yeah.
So the way you want it done, you need to write it out.
Okay.
Okay.
To get the policies in line. Okay. Yes.
Correct. That's the procedures, right? This is how I
Procedures.
want you to answer the phone. This is how I want you to schedule appointments. This is how I want you to do it. Right.
Okay.
This is why people who want to buy standard operating procedure manuals don't know what the hell they're doing. Like, you can't just buy a standard operating procedure. Like, it has to be based off of how you want your business ran,
Yeah,
right?
and how it's done well. I mean, there are things I've learned obviously over the last year, but yeah, absolutely, that would be a good idea. Delegation's hard for me, so that I like the writing it out and doing that.
Yeah. Okay. So what you need to do, I think, is go ahead and start trying to find someone. Okay. Just find a medical
Okay.
assistant. 30 hours a week, pay him 25 bucks an hour, kind of look around, see kind of what the going rate is in your area. Okay.
Okay.
Um, and then hire them. You don't have to worry about benefits. You don't got to worry about any of that. Okay. 25 bucks an hour, pay them every 2 weeks. All right.
Yeah.
Tell them if we do well, I'm gonna give you a bonus or something. Okay. Like, put a little incentive on it. If we hit this in revenue for the month, I'll give you $1,000 bonus, whatever. Okay. Give them an
Okay.
incentive.
Okay.
Right. Make
Yeah.
it a cool place to work. Buy them lunch, fill up their gas tank. Just be a cool boss. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
I can definitely do that. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. You do that, they love you. Okay. Like, I've never had anyone quit my men's health clinic because there's not a better place to work.
I think they would be really laid back here too at
Yeah.
Revival and easy and fun, and they could do things they wanted to do on. Yeah.
Exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a cool place to work. It's fun. It's easy. It's not that hard. You're a cool boss. So do those kinds of things, and you're gonna have a and you'll have an excellent employee. Okay, and
Okay.
then yeah. So the first month is going to be a little bit stressful because you're gonna have to be there, holding their hand, kind of. You kind of got to micromanage them a little bit at first, and then once they get going and you start trusting them, etc., you're gonna be like, okay, I feel pretty good about this now. I'm gonna let them go. Okay.
Absolutely. Okay.
Just one word of caution is always keep an eye on finances. Okay. If you got someone who's taking payments for you and stuff, there's always going to be a chance of theft. Okay. It's just an unfortunate reality as a business owner. Okay. Not saying that your employee will do that to you. All right. But it can happen. So keep an eye on the finances and make sure that nothing weird's going on. Okay.
Can do that. I've kept an eye on them so far, and I haven't delegated anything yet, so I think I can keep on hold of that.
Exactly. Put a camera above the cash register,
Okay.
above the computer. Even if it's not even working, it's just there to persuade them not to do it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Make sure that there is a kiosk that patients use for their credit card. Because the last thing you want is some smart ass employee who has a square on their phone start swiping shit on their phone.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay. People
Don't
do
have
that.
that. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, people do that. So make sure there's a kiosk there. Patients are aware. Hey, wait a second. I've been paying on that. Why am I using, you know what I mean? Why am I using your phone? That doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. So if you do those kinds of things, it shouldn't really be a problem. Right.
Okay.
Um, yeah. And so I think if you do that, I think it should be a pretty no-brainer. I think that it should help you quite a bit to be able to step away from it and not
Yeah.
be, yeah.
One thing I'm trying to do is learn more so that I can grow the business so I can be multifaceted, right? I want to do different things. Well, and I like to learn and keep growing. And so I want to learn more about hormones and dive into that more. And then I'm going to add some like red light therapy, some other things in the clinic, so that we really can be sustainable. So I think that's one of the goals here is delegating some of the tasks that are very simple, but I can trust people to do. And if they have questions, they can ask me, but then I could step away from that part, just adding people in, doing their, demographics and putting them in the compounding pharmacy, those kinds of things, and reordering for me. I think that that'll be really helpful. So I can step away from this part and maybe do some more dreaming on my part to see where I can grow the company as well.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. These people can do all that for you. Okay. I haven't ordered from a compounding pharmacy in years. I don't even know. I can't even do it anymore. I don't even know how to do it, you know?
I would love to say that. I would love to say
Right. Like I can't even order labs from Access Medical Labs anymore. I don't remember how to do that shit. I just don't remember.
that.
I haven't done it in years, the whole point is for you to focus on more of this higher level stuff and patient
Yep.
care. Like what
Yep.
brings money in, that's what you need to focus on. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that if you did that, I think that you're going to have a weight lifted off your shoulders and the business is going to be a lot more fun again. And you can focus on patient care and increasing practice revenue and doing those kinds of things. I think that if you do those, yeah, I think that's just going to it's going to make your life so much better. You're going to be like, damn, I wish I did this 6 months ago.
Exactly. I know I will be. I just have to do it. I just have to get out there and do it. So
Exactly.
one thought I have and question I have. So right now I'm running as an LLC. I'm doing my taxes from last year, which have been kind of a nightmare, but we're getting it handled. We talked about for being an LLC, filing as an S corp and paying myself a salary
Yeah.
so that to save on the taxes that way. So, like switching from an LLC to an S corp, what do you know about that? I mean, is it a
Yeah.
big deal to switch to doing W-2 stuff?
No, this is super easy. Okay. I mean, if you have a competent accountant, they should be able to set this up for you. You can do it yourself too. I don't remember the exact name of the form, but it's a form that you submit to the IRS. And it basically, your EIN for your LLC will now be treated. Now it'll be treated as an S corp from a tax perspective. Okay. So go to the Elite MP website and click on all articles or blog posts. Go to the article archive. Okay. I mean, there's hundreds of articles there. Type in S corp and there's an article there that I wrote on how to do it, and then a link to the IRS on what form to fill out. Okay. Fill out that form, mail it. You'll get a letter from the IRS a couple weeks later. Now you're treated as an S Corp. It's that simple. Okay. Yeah. And then you can't backdate it really. Okay. But it's basically starting on this date. And so what you'll do is you have to pay yourself a salary, right? A reasonable salary. All right. NPs in your area, what's the average hourly rate?
Uh, Probably, I think NP's salary is probably 100,000 to 125.
Okay, so you're looking at probably 50, $60 an hour. Okay. So go with
Yeah.
50. Yeah. Okay. So go on the low end, $50 an hour. Okay. You're a
Okay.
cheap ass business owner. You're going to pay your MPs $50 an hour. Okay.
Okay.
So pay yourself $50 an hour. All right. Call it 20 hours a week, 30 hours a week, whatever it is that you want. That's your salary. Okay. Don't actually do it hourly. Just make it a salary. Okay. So, your salary will be something like $80,000 or $90,000 a year. Okay. So every 2 weeks, you get a nice check, you get a nice deposit in your bank where taxes are taken out. And it's actually kind of a nice thing. You're like, oh, okay, cool. That's my check. I'm going to learn how to live off of that. Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then the rest of it, all right, is free from the employment taxes. So it saves you as the business owner 15%. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a no-brainer, right? And then the leftover money, okay, you can take as a owner's draw, free from the 15%. You still got to pay income taxes on it, okay? But you won't pay those income taxes till either the end of the year or quarterly, however you want to set that up. All right. So yeah. So what I personally do is I try to move the money out pretty much every month. I don't like having a bunch of money in my business account.
Yeah. Right now, I'm just taking a monthly payment. At the end of the month, I get my payment, and then minus whatever the expenses were. And then I invest whatever else I can in the stock market, and specifically GLP-1s. But anyway,
Good.
that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Cause I'm like, well, if I fail and they're doing better, hey, at least I'm making money off them. So
Yeah, yeah. That's what you should do. Like seriously, if I was you, the kind of money that you're making, I would try to live below your means. I would try to be frugal and I would just pay, try to live off that 80, $90,000 a year that you pay yourself for.
mhm.
Take a little bit out here and there, you want to buy a new car or pay off your house or whatever it is that you want to do with it. You want to take a nice vacation, hell with it, right? But the rest of it, I would invest that. I would invest it. Like I said, milk this for as long as you can. Cause this might last, it might last another year. It might last 5 years. It might last 10 years. Who knows? We don't know. Right.
Yeah.
But milk it for as long as you can. And before you know it, in 4 or 5 years, okay, if the stock market continues to go up like it's doing, in 4 or 5 years with the magic of compound interest and stuff, you could have $5 million in your brokerage account,
Mhm.
and then at that point, it's just, what do you want to do?
Yeah, retired. No, start a new business probably. Who knows?
Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 34.
34 years old. Shit. Okay. Yeah. You're going to be fine. Like, you're 34 years old. By the time you're 40, 45 years old, you would be a multimillionaire if this continues like this.
I hope so. I hope we're talking about that. I hope I'm on the other end of trying to grow, but now I hope I'm one of the successful nurse practitioners you talk to in a year or so.
Yeah, I think you're going to be. Yeah, I mean, I really don't. I think you're going to be beyond millionaire. I think you're going to be a multimillionaire if you do it right. So many people start gambling with their money, and I'm not talking about going to the casino, but they start gambling on a bunch of meme stocks and Bitcoin and nonsense. They lose money, or they spend it like crazy. They buy $1 million house, $150,000 car. Like they just blow it. And
Yeah.
then the business goes south for some reason, and then they're stuck back in the situation they're in. They got to get a job in an urgent care, right? So,
Nope.
yeah, no, you don't want to go back down that route. Yeah, I hear you. Me either. I will never work in an urgent care ever again. Screw that. I'm not going to do it. So yeah, if you do this right, I think you'll be a multimillionaire in 5 years. Easy.
Sounds fine to me. I
Yeah.
can live below that. I can live less than that. We can do it.
Yeah, you can do it. By the time you're 40 years old, I think you will be financially independent. And then at that point, do you just let your practice do its thing? You hire some nurse practitioners and keep making you money, or do you just sell the business and walk away and be done? It's a good
I
problem
think
to
a
have.
lot of us know where that is. Yep, that's a good problem to have. Yeah.
It's a very good problem to have. So yeah. Anyways, do you have any other questions?
I think so.
Cool. All right. Well, I like to end the episode with you asking me a question. So, a personal question or a curiosity. Do you have any questions or curiosities for me?
Um, what's your next business venture you're gonna start? Have you thought about that at all?
I thought about it. I'm not really too sure. I'm thinking about, I have, I'm going in between two businesses right now. So I'm in between, because basically everything I have now is just kind of on autopilot. Like I don't really have to do much. So what I'm thinking about doing is opening up maybe like a bar golf simulator kind of thing.
Oh, that sounds awesome. That's
Yeah. Yeah. Like get 2 or 3,000 square feet in a nice part of town on a main road, put 4 or 5 golf simulators in there, put a bar in the middle of it that's playing golf and stuff all the time or whatever. Like make it real kind of classy, just a place that golfers can come hang out, play on the golf simulator. Cause I just started playing golf again. I used to play, when I was younger. And I don't care if it makes money. Like as long as it pays for itself, I can go hang out and like serve drinks and shit. Sounds good to me. Kind of what I'm thinking that, or thinking about forming another online education business on maybe more of like a course business kind of a thing is what I'm thinking. So,
I'll be staying tuned to where that goes.
all right. Well, listen, I appreciate hopping on here, and I hope this was helpful. And update me seriously. Shoot me an email 6 to 12 months from now. Let's do a follow up.
That sounds good. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate all your help.
All right, no problem. Take care. Bye. All right. Hope everyone enjoyed the episode with Carley. She's doing very well. I've said this before multiple times in these podcasts and on the website. Small towns are gold. Okay. All you have to do is deliver a service that is needed in that small town, and your chances for success are significant, okay? If you are in a saturated market, look outside of town. Be willing to drive 2 hours away. Go into a market where there's no competition. If you are starting one of these practices in a saturated area, okay, you have a very, very high uphill battle to fight. She's doing very well in a small town, providing weight loss, which is a high value, high margin service. So she will continue to do well and she will continue to grow because she doesn't have a whole lot of competition. All right, hope everyone enjoys this episode. Talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye. Thank you for listening to the show. Quick legal disclaimer. The content of this podcast is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be used as legal, financial, medical, regulatory, or practice-specific advice. For information pertaining to your specific legal, financial, medical, or practice-specific needs, please be sure to consult with your lawyer, CPA, medical director, and/or your state's practice laws and the most up-to-date clinical guidelines. As always, do your due diligence when it comes to any information found online and in podcasts. The content in this podcast is copyrighted by Galaxy Medical Southwest 2023 and cannot be duplicated, rebroadcasted, or reproduced without our written permission.